Welcome back to This Explainer. Okay, today we're looking at a huge foundational shift in how you need to approach cryptocurrency. So many people enter this space trying to get rich quick, right? But the sources we're diving into today, they completely flip that narrative on its head. This explainer is really all about survival. It's about relentlessly protecting your capital. Because, well, before you can multiply your wealth, you absolutely have to know how to keep it. So, there's a really great guiding philosophy for us today. The fastest way to succeed in crypto trading is to learn from mistakes, especially other people's mistakes, so you don't have to make them yourself. I mean, why go through the financial pain, the stress, the drained bank accounts, when a roadmap of what not to do literally already exists? Internalizing the common pitfalls we're going to cover today is absolutely crucial. You need to absorb these lessons before you risk a single dollar in the markets. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our survival guide roadmap for today. Number 1, avoiding the crypto pitfalls. 2, mastering your trading emotions. 3, fixing flawed trading strategies. 4, due diligence and security. And finally, number 5, the ultimate mistake cheat sheet. All right, kicking things off with section 1, avoiding the crypto pitfalls. Shifting your mindset to capital protection. You see, success in this arena isn't just about making one brilliant, profitable trade. Fundamentally, it's about avoiding those devastating mistakes that wipe you out. So before anything else, you have to look in the mirror and ask yourself, can I genuinely afford to lose this money? This brings us to the very first major trap highlighted in our source material, investing way more than you can afford to lose. It sounds like basic common sense, right? But honestly, you would be absolutely shocked at how many beginners throw rent money, life savings, or even borrowed emergency funds right into the crypto market. And what happens next? Well, the market inevitably takes a dip, panic sets in because real-world bills are due, and you're forced to sell at a massive loss just to survive. Suddenly, you can't pay your rent. The golden rule here is absolute. Only ever invest disposable income. Do not touch those emergency funds. Moving on to section 2, mastering your trading emotions, conquering yourself before the market. Now, we all know the crypto market is incredibly volatile, but let's be real. The real chaos usually happens right inside our own heads. These psychological traps are the #1 drain on beginner accounts. And that brings us perfectly to FOMO, or the fear of missing out. Okay, imagine this scenario. You open up social media and you see Bitcoin or maybe some obscure altcoin absolutely pumping. Everyone's talking about it. The hype is just infectious. So, fueled by this intense panic that you are missing the boat, you buy in. But because the price is already sky high, you've just bought at the absolute top. Almost immediately, the price drops and boom, you're instantly in the red. To avoid this tragic cycle, you just have to wait for a pullback or a dip before entering. You've got to stick to your trading plan. Never, ever chase a pump. Because listen to me, there's always another opportunity. Let's look at the stark contrast in how we handle a loss, specifically when we're talking about revenge trading. First, we see this tragic, anger-fueled cycle. You lose $100 on a trade, you get mad. You want that money back right now, so you impulsively jump into a much bigger trade without any plan whatsoever. The result, you lose $300 more. Ouch. Contrast that with the disciplined approach. When you take a loss, step away from the screen. Literally, get up and walk away. Never trade when you're emotional. Instead, review what went wrong in your trading journal and only come back when you have a perfectly clear head. Doing nothing is also a strategy. Now, this directly targets the trap of overtrading. Sometimes, the market is just slow. It's boring. But instead of just being patient, beginners will open trades just to feel like you're doing something. All this actually does is rack up transaction fees and pile on losses from bad, uncalculated trades. Honestly, you should only be trading when there is a crystal clear signal. It's all about quality over quantity every single time. All right, Section 3, fixing flawed trading strategies, setting the strict rules of engagement. So even if you've managed to master your emotions, you still need a mechanical plan, right? Otherwise, you're going to fall right into the trap of ignoring market trends. Imagine the entire market is in a bear phase, meaning overall prices are dropping. But a beginner just keeps stubbornly buying, expecting prices to magically rise. The prices just keep dropping, and the trader loses all their money fighting the current. To avoid this, you absolutely must identify whether the market is bull or bear. The old saying holds completely true here. The trend is your friend. If you are in a bear market, reduce your positions or just hold stablecoins. Seriously, don't try to fight the ocean. Which brings us to a totally crucial safety net and a massive pitfall, not using a stop loss.
A stop loss is simply an automatic trigger to sell if the price drops to a certain point. Without it, a trade goes against you and you just sit there staring at the screen, hoping it recovers. Look, hope is not a strategy. The price keeps dropping and suddenly you've lost 50 to 80% of your capital? No way. You must absolutely always set a stop loss before you even enter a trade and never move it lower once it's set. You have to accept the small losses. They are literally the only thing that will save you from the catastrophic ones.
But even with a stop loss, you are still super vulnerable if you put all your eggs in one basket. If you take your entire $1,000 portfolio and dump it into one single altcoin, and that specific coin crashes by 80%, you've just lost 800 bucks. Your portfolio is totally decimated. The solution here is simple: diversification. You need to spread your risk across established assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum alongside your riskier altcoins. A really solid rule of thumb from our sources: never put more than 40 to 50% of your total capital into a single coin.
Moving to Section 4, Due Diligence and Security, protecting yourself from external threats. So far, we've talked about internal emotions and personal strategies, but now we really have to look outward. You've likely heard the term pump and dump. Well, this is tied directly to the massive mistake of doing zero research and just blindly buying hype coins. Here's exactly how this trap works. Some influencer on social media promotes an unknown coin, promising it's going to the moon. You buy in without doing any research at all. Once the price pumps up from all the followers buying in, the influencer dumps all of their own holdings for a massive profit. The price instantly plummets, leaving you holding a totally worthless coin. Always, always do your own research, DYOR. Read the white paper, check the team, never trust random tips.
And speaking of protecting yourself, let's run through a rapid-fire checklist to help you avoid poor security practices. Storing your crypto long-term on an exchange? That's a massive risk. Instead, use a hardware wallet for your large amounts. Also, you absolutely must enable two-factor authentication, or 2FA, on everything. And listen closely, under no circumstances do you ever share your private key or your seed phrase with anyone, period. Use strong, unique passwords, and always, always verify website URLs before connecting your wallet, just to avoid those nasty phishing scams.
This leads us right into our final major trap: trusting random social media tips. Whether it's TikTok, Telegram, or Twitter, if someone claims a coin is absolutely guaranteed to 100x and you just buy in immediately, you are essentially gambling your money on a scam. No one, and I mean absolutely no one, can predict crypto with 100% certainty. You have to maintain a really healthy skepticism of any supposed guaranteed profit. Because, well, if it sounds too good to be true, it almost certainly is.
Okay, bringing it all together with Section 5, the ultimate mistake cheat sheet. Your summary table for survival. And this brilliantly illustrates everything we've talked about. I highly recommend taking a screenshot of this cheat sheet right now. It is your ultimate survival guide mapped out perfectly. From conquering FOMO and only using disposable income to forcing yourself to do your own research. It reminds you to always set that vital stop loss and diversify your portfolio. It's your quick reference to just step away after a loss instead of revenge trading, to lock down your security with a hardware wallet, and to prioritize quality over quantity so you don't overtrade. And finally, to trade with the overall trend and stay highly skeptical of social media hype. Keep this list right next to your screen. Seriously, 90%. That number right there represents your new advantage. The sources for today's explainer make a really powerful point. Success in crypto trading is not just about making profits. It is fundamentally about avoiding the mistakes that cause massive losses. If you can truly internalize these 10 pitfalls we just discussed, you are already way ahead of 90% of beginners out there. You literally have the map to navigate the minefield. So the only question left to ask yourself is this: now that you know exactly what destroys most traders, are you truly ready to conquer the market with discipline? Or are you just going to go back to gambling in the dark? Think about that before your next trade. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.